Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Paddock. Hope you're all doing well. This week in religion, we'll be celebrating Pentecost. Now, Pentecost occurs 50 days after Easter, and I'll explain a little bit about what Pentecost is. But if you remember last week, we celebrated the Ascension of the Lord. Now, the Ascension of the Lord happens 40 days after Easter, and remember the Ascension means going up. So the Lord, meaning Jesus went up to heaven, okay? So the Ascension of the Lord happens 40 days after Easter, and this week we're celebrating the Pentecost, which happens 50 days after Easter, and this year it'll be on May 31st. So Pentecost is essentially, it basically means when the Holy Spirit came down on the apostles, and it basically, it allowed them to be able to talk in different languages in order to spread the message of God and Jesus to the rest of the world. We also, we also say that it's the beginning of our church, right? Beginning of our Catholic Church, when again the apostles were able to go and spread the message of Jesus and God to more and more people. So again, it's when the Holy Spirit comes down on the apostles, and remember the apostles were Jesus's buddies, right? Now, when we think of the Holy Spirit, we think of a dove, right? Usually that's what we see images of and pictures of. It's a dove. And oftentimes when you look at, say, some sort of picture of Pentecost, you see little flames of the Holy Spirit coming down. And again, it's because they're going to be talking in different tongues. That's how they usually say it. And they can talk and speak different languages now, okay? I'm going to read you a story from the Bible here, and it is called The Coming of the Holy Spirit. And again, Pentecost will happen on May 31st of this year, 50 days after Easter. So hopefully you'll be able to see the Bible passage here. The coming of the Holy Spirit. The disciples were in Jerusalem waiting for the Holy Spirit to come and baptize them, as Jesus had told them. Meanwhile, they decided to replace the traitor Judas with a new disciple. They had then they would be 12 once more, as Jesus had originally intended. Sorry, taking a little while here to turn the page. They prayed for guidance and cast votes, and Matthias was chosen. The 12 became known as the apostles. Then the waiting continued. So 50 days after Passover and the death of Jesus, so what we know as Easter, it was the Feast of Pentecost, when Jews celebrated how God had given their religious laws to Moses. The apostles were celebrating the feast when suddenly a mighty sound, like a rushing wind, filled their ears, as though it was all around them in the house. The apostles felt alive and full of energy, and turning to each other in astonishment, they saw that every man had tiny flames hovering over their head. "It must be the Holy Spirit," they cried, and they found they were all speaking in different languages. Realizing they had been blessed with the special gifts Jesus had talked about, the apostles excitedly ran out into the streets. Some found themselves giving thanks to God in Greek. Others were preaching about Jesus in Latin. Some were praising the Holy Spirit in many other languages. Many worshippers from foreign lands had come to Jerusalem for Pentecost, and they were stunned. "Oh, these men are from Galilee," they marveled. "How can they speak our language?" However, some people just laughed and said that, they must be drunk or something. And then Peter began preaching, and everyone who heard him was stirred by his passion. We are followers of Jesus of Nazareth. He has risen from the dead, and we have seen it with our own eyes. Today, we have been blessed by the Holy Spirit with these gifts of languages. Anyone who is truly sorry for their sins and follows the teachings of Jesus will be blessed too. Who wants to join us? That day, the apostles baptized over 3,000 people as followers of Jesus. The foundations of the Christian church had been laid. So there you go. So a little Bible passage about Pentecost. And again, Pentecost happens 50 days after Easter. And this year, it'll be on May 31st. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.